Are we streaming? Here we go. Good afternoon. Sorry about that. A bit late coming on. I've just had to sort out some mic problems again. I realised I got a duplicate mic going on in Ableton Live, and just had to check it. I did a video on Facebook earlier on. I just realised that the duplicate mic was on again, so there's a lot of slapback delay on my voice. So hopefully this time it shouldn't happen. And what I'm going to do today, this is not actually a production tutorial today. It's just a preview of the new house music sound design course I've started to develop this week. So welcome to Elite EDM Stars. My name's Darren Baton. I am a house music producer under the name Dirty Midranger if you're new to the channel, and also produce under the name DB9 Project. I used to run 2 record labels: Digital Insomnia Music Group, Digital Insomnia Recordings, Digital Insomnia Groove, and I used to be one of the co-founders of Pink Bomb back in the sort of 1996-97 late sort of 90s trance period, and recently, well, a few years ago, re-released our Indica track again on Solar Stone's Pure Trance label and Black Hole Recordings. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and also giving us a like and thumbs up. So as I say, today is just a quick walkthrough, and it's literally just about the new house music course, production course. Not so much production course. I'm putting together the sound design course. This is going to be a free taster course, which is to accompany the advanced house music production course. So if you want to win one of these wonderful hoodies, you can well, not sort of win one. If you want to get one, if you get a free hoodie of your choice if you sign up to this course. But less about that. That's what I'm going to show you today. This is the course that I'm going to be doing. It's a free course, as I say, giving away some of the sort of couple of little secrets on stuff. It's not the full house music production course. That, as I say, this thing here. This course is a full one-to-one over 2 weeks, covering 4 different styles of house music, whereas this is just sound design to get you sort of started. We do cover some sound design in the house music course, obviously, as we're building 4 different tracks, but this is just a little bit of a taster course, so that if you do want to take the advanced course, you've got sort of some sound design theory behind you. So without further ado, Module 1 will be creating deep and future house bass. So Module 2, house pianos, chord layers. Module 3, house music sound effects. Module 4, transition effects. And Module 5, working with vocals. So inside there we'd have house synth bass layers, kick bass layers, wobble bass and bass reverb transitions, house music pianos, synth chords, creating sound effects part 1 and part 2. So that's like different types of whooshes, risers, alarms, downshifters and things like that. I know we've done stuff like this in the past, but this is more sort of suited to house music, and also shaping your MIDI to the key of the track that you're in, and all, you know, making sure that everything sort of fits in key. It's all important. So snare rolls, transitions, kick, drum, reverb transitions, working with vocals, so adding vocal layers and vocal chop effects. We did some vocal chop effects last week, but this is just, as I say, it's a free course for really. So it's putting together everything I've been doing over the last few weeks and sort of putting together a sound design course for you guys. So obviously you probably couldn't see that because I'm sort of down here, so I'm going to just switch over and you can have a quick gander at that. So this is what it's going to be, as I say, creating deep and future house basses, house synth bass layers, kick bass, wobble bass, bass reverb transitions. Let's just make sure that I've got sound coming through. Yeah, everything's okay, everything's fine. So I'm going to show you a track I'm working on. It's a track I've showed you in the past, but I'm restructuring it now with my house music template and my go-to sounds. I like to sort of start ideas. I throw tracks together, I get the basis and the ideas together, and then I like to put my tracks into my house music template and use a certain set of go-to sounds. This is in Serum, so unfortunately the sounds are frozen, but I can't sort of show you the inside the sound design unless I unfreeze them and go through the reload the patches and stuff. So I'm not going to sort of do that. I'm not going to unfreeze the tracks. It's just so that you know that we're going to be using Serum for the course, and also probably Arteria pigment. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to sort of transfer the save from Serum and do the sound in Serum, and also then do the sound in something like Pigment. They're both additive synthesizers, digital synthesizers. Might be a lot more harder to create these sounds in silent, because that's been more of a subtractive synthesis, and we don't have so much FM control. We can control some kind of FM frequency modulation control with pitch LFOs and stuff, but whereas Serum and Arteria's Pigments, they've got FM synthesis built into them, more additive synthesis, and a lot more sound design capabilities. So I'm going to sort of be doing the sounds over sort of the two synthesizers and splitting those into videos. So without further ado, I'm just going to play you through. The vocals here are not fully in time on this track still at the moment. So I'm still trying to get this right. It's been such a nightmare to get this vocal a cappella in time. I've tried all kinds of things, but I've now moved the track back, because what I've got here is my old parts of this track, and this vocal, the bass drop came here around about 1 minute in this first drop, and these vocals were sort of in the piano drop here, and building up to the bass drop. I've now changed that, created a short intro before the vocals drop in, and then it builds up to a piano and then into a drop, a bass drop. So the idea of this is that you can use these sounds, you can relay these sounds up on different tracks, and then obviously change certain sounds, making sure that you're pitching and changing your sounds as well in your drum parts. The course is not going to be covering drum programming. We've done that specifically in a different course. I've also got available on the beginners course, if you download this book here, there's a section in the free guide on how to build an 808 drum kit from scratch, so you can look at that. We've still got about 40 days left to download that guide for free, and obviously that accompanies our beginners course, which is £47, and that's 27 videos and an 88-page step-by-step guide. But as I say, we are giving that guide away, so if you come to our website, you'll see a pop-up like this. It'll either pop up like that at the bottom right corner here, or if you come to this landing page, you just click on this button here and it will just pop up, and just name an email address, and you should get an email link with a link to the download. Okay, so let me go into Ableton. I'll just play this through. For some unknown reason, and I don't know why these things have been happening. It happened to me earlier on today. The volume went right down on these synths. Never touched it, but it went down. For some reason, the vocals are not working now. I have no idea why. There's nothing muted. The vocals are not deactivated, but they're not working. They were literally working when I loaded this track. I know why. I know why. It's because they're going through a pre-master, and I've had to turn the pre-master off, otherwise I will have a duplicate voice coming on. So bear with me, I'm just going to put these vocals back through the master. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. That's the one.
Everybody keep on moving, moving. Tonight's the night, so let us keep on grooving. We hit the floor, we booming, booming. We don't care what we do. We don't care what they say. We can party every day. No, DJ plays another hit. No, we don't care. Everybody say we can party every day. No.
Okay, so that's a run through of my track that I've done before. I'm going to show you another one as well, slightly the actual course, the actual track that we're going to be working on for the course as well. That'll be that particular track, using the same sound, same sort of layout and stuff. But this is how I sort of build and finish my tracks. I sort of throw them into my template, and then just it allows me to sort of restructure everything how I want it. I'm working 4-bar sections, as you can see here. 4 to 8 bar sections, and then we drop in our chorus just here into the chorus just before the first minute, and building up so that our drop is on the first minute. So that's a very important section to focus on building up. But anyway, as I say, this course is not about that. It's more sort of about these sections, so creating sort of reverb sections like this. And also, guys, the track is made up of 2 bass parts, so it's kind of an intro bass pattern, and then we've got sort of a drop bass. The bass on this particular drop here was made from the piano. I originally started with my piano. Where are we, chords? I originally started with my piano on these sections here, and that was my whole piano, and that's a whole different piano section, one, and then obviously if I just hold that, I've got lots of different things going on with that. My bass was made sort of like taking these sections here and plotting a bass line out over this pattern, not from the actual low notes that we've got down here. I didn't really step this down because it was too repetitive, too samey, so I made a bass pattern, stepped it around, and then we've got bass in 2 parts, and then we've got an intro bass which is slightly different timings of the notation, still using 8 notes but using 8 sort of dotted patterns.
We don't.
So some of the other things you're going to be obviously learning in the course is how I put together sort of kick reverbs and stuff. So we've got a kick reverb sound which just sort of adds like a woody sound. It's important to add a little bit of sort of more real life lo-fi sounds into your mix, because if you add everything that's too mid-range, too high frequencies, your track starts to sound too clinical, too digital. You've got to add a little bit of wood to the sound. As like I call it wood. It's like a wumpy sound. You get that from your kick drum. You get that from adding sort of kicks layers and reverb bass layers like that, like so. Where else? Yeah, like the kick drum, should I say? So you like your kick drum has to be nice and woody. And then we've got a variation on top. And it's probably just like a little hi-hat or a snare, just adds a little transition, helps the kick cut through the mix. As I say, we're not going to be doing drums and sound design in this particular tutorial. and also today we're not going to we're not going to be doing drums on the actual sound design course, but we're not also not going to be doing any production in this today. As I say, I'm just walking you through some of the things that are going to be coming, just to give you a little bit of a teaser really, show you how to sort of create these sounds, and then once you've got these sounds, they're an arsenal to your production tools. So what else have we got? Yeah, so sort of in vocals, it will be doing little things like this in vocal tricks. So obviously I've got a vocal loop here I've created that from the original track just by using a plugin in Ableton Live. But also what's good to do is to do little pitch downs. So you might have a section of vocal, and then what you might want to do is slightly just delay this vocal. I'm just going to change my quantize here to 1/4 bar. And the vocal layers, you can see that these vocal ad-libs have got distortion on them. I've took all of the highs and lows out. I've got delays pushing through, so you see that the pitch is down like 12 semitones, sometimes -7. Just depends, getting that particular part of the vocal in key with the rest of the track. It's very difficult to sort of fine tune it and get it right. By you've got to play around a couple of times, try pitching things, different keys. Obviously, knowing I'm working in the key of A minor, I like to sort of work in A minor a lot, and G and D. I find those are good keys to work in. F minor as well sometimes. It just depends on sort of the feel that you want. But that's all important as well in your sound design. So because obviously some parts of your bass sounds won't actually sound right if they are pitched too low and they just sound a little bit dissonant in the mix, so that you will lose the sort of bassness, or should I say the solidness of the bass, of the fundamental frequency in the sound. So they can sort of go dissonant on a club system, on a big large sound system with subwoofers. You will just lose your bass in certain key notes. So that's all important, your MIDI notation and getting the right key bass pattern that will fill out the mix. And that's why using something like a kick bass, for example, where are we? So a kick bass here. And what that's doing is just providing sub, but also that little click which allows the attack to come through, so that it punches that sub attack through the mix. So stuff like that. Wobbles, doing things like wobble sounds. I'm just placing those in the mix. There's 2 of them in here. Sometimes I just use one wobble. Sometimes I might use 3 or 4 different wobbles, and it's just creating those transitions from one section of the bass to the other. Sometimes I use a synthesizer to do it. Sometimes I create a synth, and I'll do is I'll get my highest tone synth, like so, and I'll just bounce that down to a piece of audio. I'll record the first note of this here, and then I'll just reverse that sample round so it creates like a womp sound. It's good to do that with you if you want to keep the womp in the same flavour as your bass. If you want slightly a different tone, then obviously use a synth. And it's a case of just laying them up in the right way. Drums, as I say, we're not going to be covering the drums in this, but just only things like doing your snare fills really, creating snare fill transitions, and well, obviously we've got a specific swing on this to create that shuffle feel in the pattern. So stuff like that, just transitional effects really, creating transitional sound design stuff. That's what I want to sort of give do in the course, but I want to put together, as I say, as just a free taster course. They're going to be like 5-10 minute videos each unit. There will be quizzes when I build this. I've actually got to delete this and start again. This was just as a guide for me to get it all set up. So I'm actually going to delete this and start again, because I've got to add the quiz units after each individual module here. So at the end of each module there will be a quiz. You can see how I can build this course. I can add a unit I could just go into a unit, audio unit, multimedia text, blah blah blah, or I can add a quiz or an assignment. So if I'd say quiz, it allows me to add a simple or dynamic or SCORM quiz, and that's how I build the course, and that will be basically sort of test your knowledge along the way. So it is another free course, but I want to embed that knowledge, so you have to complete the quizzes along the way to answer to move on to the next section. So there will be sample questions for each individual section, again like our other courses, but they're also at the end of each module there will be a unit sort of a module quiz, and you have to complete that to move on to the next module. It locks it. I can't show the enrolled courses because I'm not actually enrolled on my own courses here, but in our other courses, let's see if I can just quickly show you. So in this one there's unit quizzes and also assignments. So that's the house music production course. If I go into edit this course, you can see that if I come to my curriculum, so I've got house music production week 1. So at the end of week 1 there is a quiz, and then we've got an assignment, and the same as the house music week 2 is got a week 2 quiz, and then there's an assignment. So this is kind of like not this part of the course is what should I say, is self certifying, and this part is where we have to certify you. We have to sort of grade your work, listen through it and give you a grade based on what we think is how well you've done with that. Whereas beginner's course is just a quick course that you can sort of go through. It's 5.5 hours, I think about 5 hours 15 minutes when it loads. So edit course. If I go to my curriculum, you can see this is the course that I built, and each course has got a set of videos, and I click on these, you can see so there's a video in each side. So your course, the course will look something like this. Any attachments come involved, and then there's quizzes, there's questions, and then when you get to the end there is a quiz, there's a full quiz. So you can see that there's all different questions here. You have to start the quiz, and you can see there's different question types, and they are random questions, so the same questions won't always come up every single time. It will pick a lot of questions inside there, but I'm not going to show you and give you too much away. But yeah, so that's it guys. I think that's it pretty much for today, apart from I'm just going to show you the actual track that you're going to be working on. It's going to be in the course. So again, same sort of thing. My mic should be working. I shouldn't have a problem yet. Cool. So again, same again. This is just a different track in a same sounds, different idea, bass idea. Similar kind of pattern again to the start. I like that sort of moving pattern around, and then also what I've done is basically I've created this pattern, MIDI pattern, based upon this bass pattern which moves around here. So what I've done is created a pattern, taken the root key, and then just sort of moved around my bass pattern here, taking some of these keynotes. The scale I think is G sharp minor, I believe G sharp minor. Yep, a G sharp minor. So that's what I've done, and then I've obviously built my pattern here. Yep, G sharp minor. So you can see that I scale my notes there. Some of the notes down here, anything that's in there doesn't belong. That's me using a pattern to basically what I do is I have a sort of bass pattern that I like to sort of keep in my MIDI files, and I like to sort of bring that pattern in, and I'll use that as a sort of guide to make my riffs and stuff, and the different timings of my riffs and my MIDI notation, which gives me a sort of a consistent feel to my tracks. So so ignore that, obviously it's not showing all of the keys, but this is again the track that I'm going to be using for the sound design. Haven't created a piano here yet or any chords for this section. I'm still working on that. I've got to build a complete new piano to fit this section. So yeah, again, using another piano, I like to sort of try and find a piano pattern that I've got that has got a nice timing to it and a feel, and then I try and rebuild my pianos based around that, because I'm not brilliant at playing. I know the chords that I want to sort of root key I want to start in. I usually use majors or a minor chord sequence, so a triad chord sequence I'll use, and then I'll try and build something up based on my MIDI bass line and the actual scale and key I'm in. So without me keep waffling on, let me just play you through this. This is the sort of sound you're going to get. And that's pretty much it. So that's what I'm going to be using for the sound design. Again, as I say, this particular just track and pattern, but there will be sort of variations. What I may do is show different bass patterns inside the actual sound design, how different bass patterns work better than some other bass patterns and things like that. As I say, I'm still plotting the course out. I'm still creating it. I literally just wrote the idea down the other day, put it inside the back of the website to just give me a guide to actually start plotting down what how the modules and the units and stuff. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that sort of insight, guys. As I say, it's not a sort of a production thing today. I just wanted to introduce you and tease you into something that I'm creating for you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to go now and have my dinner. See you soon, and take care. Wrap up warm. It's getting cold. See you soon, guys. Oh, wrong one. That's minor. I don't want that.